Charms are fun. You're even cooler if you can make your own. 18 gauge works best for this. Easiest, the Swirl. Take some wire, take a round nose, make a loop. Fold the other side with your needle nose like this. Just kind of fold it over. Pinch it, be careful not to slip. Start to try to roll it. It'll be hard at first. Beginning is the hardest part. You don't want to slip. You got to get this little piece rolled in, and then you want to pinch it again without slipping. See, it just slipped. But once you can get a grip, you turn it sideways, squeeze really hard, and now it's easy. Every few millimeters, just reposition, squeeze, and roll. It's actually very relaxing once you get into it. You might find homeless snails will come up and find out if you were trying to make them a new house, in which case you just tell them to shoo. And they don't speak proper English, so then they will crawl in your shoes, and you will have homeless snails in your shoes. It's not the best predicament, but it's not the worst either. It can make your footwear a little bit more hydrated, a little slimy, but you'll get used to it. And you can name them. Now, that's going the wrong way. I don't know why that's going the wrong way, so we'll just flip it around. You can always do this, just twist. Look at that, bam, flipped around. And look at this. It's cute, right? But you can make it cuter. You can push it out like that and have it be kind of like a 3D. Take the handle of your pliers and like give it a good little push so it turns almost like into a spring. Results may vary. Kind of get your fingernails and try to move it in each one to try to make them a little more even if they're not coming out even right away. And if you still can't get it, just kind of give up and slam your hands down on the table and cry, because it's kind of cathartic to feel like you're a 2-year-old again. And if you have 2-year-olds, you're probably kind of jealous that they get to get away with that. Well, now you can too. Getting that middle part to pop out is the hardest. If you're careful, close your tool, push it right in there, and then kind of use your fingers like a jig, like a wedge, so you'll slip. So you got to get a really good, careful, and then pinch and push, and probably still won't work, but at least you know you tried. Now, to make sure that these face out of the ear, as we said in the other video, and don't end up hanging sideways once you put them together, you can bend each of these loops any way you want. In this case, we're going to bend the loop on the charm. So it'll go like this, 1/4 turn, like that, see? And then you open and close it and hook it in, and you are good. You don't want to use thinner gauge because this can get caught and unravel. Also, try to make it super perpendicular like that. If you want to be a perfectionist like me, and you do, perfectionism is the way. It's harder to despise yourself unless you have a goal that's unattainable. Once you set up a goal for yourself that's impossible to obtain, it gives you more power to hate yourself. If you wanted these loops to show, you could have just twisted these guys instead, 1/4 turn, by taking this like this, use another pair of pliers or your fingernails, and just go 1/4 like that. But we already did this, so let's put them together. One of the most fun charms you can make is called the Wire Blob. You can use 20 gauge for this, or 18, either works. You can even use 16. What you want to do is take 2 lengths that are roughly the same. I don't know how much this is, but I'm going to make sure the second one is the same by holding them up to each other. Touch them to your finger, make sure they're the same, and then slide down the sliding board, slide down. Oops, they're not the same. Cut off a little bit, that's the amount we wasted. Yay! Waste is fun. Now, start out probably to be on the healthy side so you don't stab anyone with these ends. Make yourself a cute little loop that is tucked in. Super tucked in. You can even make yourself a swirl if you want. Let's do that. Let's make a swirl. Now, if you make a loose swirl like this, you can pretty much use your fingers if it's 20 gauge, and if you have powerful fingers, like me, I've been doing finger push-ups for a long time. It goes like this, finger push-ups. Ugh! 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 So, make a little swirl. By pinching it tight, I can make the swirl loose with like space around it, or you can make a tight swirl. I don't care. You can do whatever you want. But let's try to make this one match. If you don't want to use your fingers, just hold it on the pliers like that and just keep wrapping it around, but then you got to pull them out and reposition them, and then just wrap it. Eventually, you're just going to use your fingers. And put them together, make sure they're about the same. Yeah, they're about the same. Cute. I would loop the other end too. Just give it a loop, and then you can play with it. give it some kind of loop so the sharp end isn't sticking out. You don't have to worry about hiding it later. Gets that part out of the way. So just give that a loop. You can even roll the loop around a little bit. Maybe let's make this one a tighter spiral just for fun. Give you variation. And do it to the other one. There you go. 2 happy dumb smiles. Now this is the most fun part ever. Just take this like this and do nonsense. Wait, what? You heard me. What kind of nonsense? Any kind of nonsense you want. Don't you try to copy my nonsense. This is my nonsense. I made it up. You have to make up your own. Hey guys, raise your hands in the air. So what are we doing? We're doing a loop. We're doing some more loop. Look at that. You can do a loop here. You can do a loop here. Whatever you do, don't try to bake both sides the same. Just have fun with it. We'll do another loop. What is that? I already told you. Stop asking. It's called nonsense. Look at that. See that? Now this can be a flat wire blob or it can be a 3D wire blob. So now that I told you it can be flat and flat is fun, let's make it a 3D one. So how do we do that? Well, we bend it in other weird shapes like this. 3-dimensional like. We bend it over itself, bend it through itself, come around like that, start ducking these cute little swirls in places, and it starts to look like a balled up mess, the kind of thing you cut off of one of your attempted wire wrap projects and threw it away because you didn't believe in yourself. And now, you know, you can go through your garbage, get all those crumbled pieces out, and you can make wire blobs. Look how cool they end up looking, almost space age. Amazing, see that? When you dig through your trash, make sure you pick out the old banana peels and separate those from the wire because they tend to not make the jewelry look as good. But look at that, wire blob, and look at that, I have a loop. It just ended up there. That isn't one of the main loops, it just ended up at the top, so look. That's a loop, it's pretty much 3D, it's a little bit on the flat side, so it will lay like that. Let me see if I can make another one with this guy. How did I start? I don't know, I kind of went like this. And then I kind of moved that around like that, and then I kind of made a loop going that way, and then I did the same thing like this, but then I made a second loop with this one, and then I decided to abandon all hope and just kind of mush them together, and then I start twisting them this way, like so, and then I wrap this one in somewhere like, I don't know, I don't even remember what I did, but I just kept on smushing and smushing and smushing and twisting and smushing. Twisting and smushing. It's kind of a new dance for all you kids out there. It's called the twist and smush. Come on, baby. Let's twist and smush. Now you bring out your other one and you put it next to it. And you're like, is it the same? Basically, you just want them to kind of look the same so people couldn't tell which from which. Now that one looks super cool and this one looks all like it got mangled. So we're just going to stretch this one out a little bit. Apparently we did too much twist and smushing with this one. So we're just going to kind of pull the pieces out so it looks a little more full, like the first one. And we're getting there. So you just basically do the same thing with both of them, but don't try to count your steps and don't try to make it perfect because that takes all the fun out of it. And if I come around and find out that you guys were taking the fun out of it, I'm going to have to send the anti-fun police after you. Just kind of mush it, pull it out, mush it, pull it out. You can even you can do other little things here and there until it kind of looks like the other one. But once you put these two together on somebody's ear, people are not really going to be able to tell which is their favorite and which is whatever, so let's throw some beads on that and a hook and have fun. Back to our 18 gauge, we can do some fun geometric type shapes if we, again, take two pieces of wire that are basically the same length. This time, get rid of your round nose pliers and just use your needle nose pliers because we're going to do sharp bends. So we're going to go like that, and then we're going to go like that. So it's more like a triangle, right? And then we're going to go like that. So we tucked in that sharp end, but it's not a cute little circle because we don't want any circles or curves. This is sharp ends. Ready? Let's do the same on this end just to get that done. Go bend, bend, bend. Tuck it in tight. I got a little diamond, a little parallelogram. All right, now do the other wire. Okay, again, you're gonna have fun. This time, grab all the way down like this. harsh, sharp angles. Bam. Harsh, sharp angles. But wait, you can go this way too. Bam. Look at that. Harsh, sharp angles. Angry. Funky. Look at that. Look at those cool shapes you're making. You're the coolest. Now again, this can be 3D, or it can just be flat. For this one, I'll just do it flat. We'll switch off. But basically, that's cool, except that will easily get yanked out of place. It's not super strong. So I'm going to bend it into itself and see what kind of weird patterns we can make. Just, you can fold it too. You can fold it and still have it be flat. But that one just looks super weird. You can even twist them. You can grab it like this and totally twist one section like that. You can roll it, and it's getting worse. It looks like a little tiny alien throwing up one arm and celebrating while putting his other hand on his head like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? He can't make up his mind. Is he excited or is he frustrated? And he's sitting kind of like Indian style. Can you still say that? He's sitting Native American style. And, ooh, wave the hands, wave the hands. Let's see, what do we want to do here? We'll fold this one again like this. Bend it down like that. Cool, funky. We'll roll this one down like that. We'll take this one and twist it. And we'll bend it like that. Wow, it's getting even wilder. Oh well, let's just throw it down and make another one. If they start becoming 3D and you want to keep them flat, you can either press them flat on the table, or you can take your pliers and just pinch them flat. And again, that second one looks better than the first. You'll always have one you might like a little bit more. Do not let them know. They will grow up to have insecurity if one of them feels like you favor one over the other. You know how it is. Or if you're going to let them know, at least do it in a taunting way so you get some joy out of it. You're my favorite. Why can't you be like your brother? Now, as much as these are fun and funky, I'm going to try to keep bending them until I get them into kind of a circle. I want them to be kind of a circle or an oval or something resembling one of those shapes. So at least I tricked people into thinking I knew what I was doing. So there we go. I like how that's more of a uniform thing. Now that one needs a few more bends to look like the other. And again, as long as you're careful not to mangle the wire, you can just keep playing. Like, it's fun. And just when you think you have it right, you'll do another bend and mess up the whole thing, and then you'll be so mad at yourself, like, why didn't I stop while I was ahead? You know why you didn't stop while you were ahead. Because you never stop while you're ahead. You always end up finding a way to mess it up, and that's just been the story of your life. So, you know, don't feel bad. Maybe tell your therapist. And don't blame me. I'm just telling the hard truths. Last but not least, just do the same thing, but make simple geometric shapes like this. Ta-da! Now, I'm making this one very loose. This one could get pulled out. So I'm going to show you a trick. When you have a little bit left, tuck it under. Tuck this part under there like this. Ready? Take this, shove it under the next closest loop like that. See? Make sure you don't want any curves. You still want your sharp angles, but look at that. And we'll roll that a tiny bit more. And voila. Check that out. Now that's much more secure. It's not going to get pulled out very easily. If you're really worried, you can open that up. Let's do it. Really want it to be secure, you can open this up right here and really tuck it in like bam, like that. Just make sure that sharp end isn't sticking out to stab anyone. Just muscle it back where it's pressed up against the side of another piece of wire, okay? Fun. Cool.